Jacqueline Sinfield here, the ADD coach for adults and also author of the book Untapped Brilliance, How to Reach Your Full Potential as an Adult with ADHD. So today I wanted to talk about a great technique so that you always know where your keys are, and your house keys, your home key, your car keys, whatever keys you have. And the reason is, when you lose your keys, it can be a very traumatic event, and I'm not saying that lightly, it seems disproportionate, but when you lose your keys in the moment, it's very stressful because you don't know where they are, you don't know if you'll ever find them ever again, and then you're thinking in your head of all the possible places where it could be, you're looking, you try not to feel stupid, all those things are going on. You don't know how long it's going to take, so it's very time consuming. You might be able to find them in 4 minutes or 4 hours or longer or shorter, so it is time consuming. It also means that you're going to be late, and that's usually when you're trying to find your keys, is because you're going somewhere. And so when you're late, that does have negative connotations. Your friends and family get kind of annoyed. They think that you're not important to them. And if you're going for a job interview or doing a presentation or being late for work, that has negative connotations too, which of course adds to the stress. And finally, it's expensive. If you just get a regular house key recut because you've lost it, it's not too bad. But if you have your car keys that you need to get redone, that could easily be $100. Sometimes you have to have your car towed as a consequence of not knowing where your keys are. So these really mount up over time. So here's a really easy technique to avoid them, and it's multi-step. So first of all, get your keys. Okay, so these are mine, and put all your important keys on one ring, so you only ever have to find one key ring. Now, some people say, okay, well, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to be carrying a brick around. Well, in that case, have a look at the keys. It might mean that you need to prune them a little bit. All that you really need on your key ring are keys that you use in 7 days. So that would be your house keys, your car keys if you've got a car, office keys if you have keys to your own office. If you use a bike, then your bike key, that sort of thing. But anything that you don't use on a daily basis, then that can go on a separate key ring, but your regular ones are just on one ring. So that's the first thing. The next thing to do is have key stations. So you're going to need a key station at home, one in transition, and then somewhere to place them at work. So if we think about the key station at home, think about the door, usually the front door that you always walk in, and then right there have somewhere that you can always put your keys. It might be a hook, it might be a little table that you have a pretty dish in. You'll know as I'm talking where you could have your key station at home. So that's the new place to always put your keys. The same at work. Think where you could have a key station at work. It might be a drawer in your desk at work, it might be a dish, it might be that you just keep them in your bag. So here goes for a bag. So women, of course, always carry a bag, but if you've got ADHD and you're a man, then it's absolutely imperative that you always carry a bag too. And it's not weird these days. There's some brilliant bags that men can carry. Obviously, briefcase, rucksack, messenger bag, there's all types. So a bag is where you're going to have your transitional key station, and always get a bag with a pocket in. I don't know if the camera can see, but like if it's got a zip, that is the perfect place to put your keys. So always put your keys in there. So that means we've got 3 great places that your keys live, whichever environment you're in. And if you're in another environment besides those ones, then think where your key station will be in those places. So the next thing is then how to remember to put your keys in the key station. So what happens is, locking doors and putting your keys down is something you do day in, day out, many times every day. So you're not consciously paying attention to it. What happens is you just go on autopilot, and so you're not consciously aware of putting your keys in the door and what you do with the keys afterwards. So we need to change that. So when you're locking the door, and then when you're putting the keys in the key station, do not do anything else except those activities. So hang up if you're on your phone, hang up. If you're talking to someone, say, oh, I'm sorry right now, like if they're actually with you, sorry right now, I've just got to concentrate here. The only activity you've got to be doing is paying attention. So in order to do this, you need to be extra mindful, and a technique to do this is to actually talk out loud while you're doing it. And if you feel like there's people around and you don't want to look silly, you can talk quietly in your head, but out loud's the best. So for example, I had one client that was always locking her keys in a car. So before she shut the car door, she would say, my keys are now in my hand. She wasn't allowed to close the car door until she said that, and the keys are actually in her hand. And so as you're opening your front door, you get the appropriate key and say, I'm now putting the keys in the door, I'm opening the door. And it might sound silly and very simplistic, but it means that you're going to be really consciously aware of what you're doing. And then you continue that little conversation until the keys are safely in the key station. Okay, now it might take a lot or a little bit of mental effort in the beginning, but eventually you'll get the hang of it and it'll become second nature, and you'll never lose your car keys or house keys again. But never say never, okay? If you do, don't beat yourself up about it. Just carry on and go back to this plan. No system's completely foolproof, but this system absolutely will get you through the majority of the days. Do have a plan B. So as we're talking about keys now, it'd be a great idea to get some second keys cut and give them to safe people who you think would be around when you would need them. And then there's also a gadget that you can get if you like gadgets and you are prone to losing your keys. There is a gadget that helps you locate them, so I'm going to put that information below. So try this technique and let me know how you get on, and you can learn lots more of these sorts of techniques in the Untapped Brilliance course. Good luck!